like a rocket. We need the bass and we need the drama. We own this place, yeah, we own this place. It's all or nothing. It's all or nothing.
Okay, now there we go. I don't know. I had sound. At any rate, it was an interesting beginning to the show today because I came out early enough, as I always do, and found out that apparently some rabbits or something had been chewing on my Ethernet cable that runs from my router that's in the house out here. And yeah, I'm out here working, getting ready for the show. All of a sudden, I got no internet. I'm like, what the hell? So I go through everything, thinking it's something I did. Took me probably, I don't know, half hour, 45 minutes to figure it out. And sure enough, fucking bunnies, man. Fucking bunnies. Terrible. So the at the end of the day, it's terrible. And so I had to run because I know that it's hard to believe, but I don't actually have every tool you can imagine here at my house. I really don't. So I ended up having to go to Home Depot and pick up a crimper and some RJ45 connectors. And now I have internet. I think. Seems like I do anyway. I'm online, so that's what matters. But yeah, it was crazy, man. I was just like working, and I actually started working on some lights and camera and stuff, and I came back and went to pull up a web page. No internet. It's crazy. It's really, really interesting. But I digress. It's the day shift. Even though it's a very delayed day shift, even though there's not very many people here because, I was going to just let it roll. I wasn't going to stream. But I don't know what we're going to do with those bunnies, but something's got to happen. That's for sure. That was terrible, man. It was terrible. I don't know if we'll shoot them, but certainly they caused a problem. And it was so random. Like everything was working fine. And then I couldn't even believe it was the cable. I went and checked everything. I got my Elmer Fudd suit on. Elmer Fudd has a different hat, but sure. So yeah, I'm very much lounging today for sure. Loungewear, I think is what they call it. Got my golfing hat on. So this is my golfing hat. It's what you wear when you're golfing, which I couldn't do today because it's raining like all hell. But that's all right. That's all right. So we got a lot going on out there in the world today. It's very interesting the way things are going right now. Still working with the new setup in the studio. It's still too bright in here to me. I need to tone it down some. Too much light. But I'll figure it out. It'll get there. It's going to be fine. Yeah. Anyway, it's been an interesting week. Obviously, I was distracted all last week by the event, putting that on, and then this week I've just been playing catch up. And now we're going to try and, we're trying to figure out this. I guess we're still stuck on the Epstein stuff, which I think is going to be very interesting when it comes out. I think that the Democrats have been played into pushing for the release of this, and it's going to end up hurting them a lot more than it hurts anybody else. But I do believe that everybody is going to take some flack on this. I don't think anybody's coming out of this unscathed, so to speak. So, and we've got a lot of stuff going on. Notlows 2 says, yeah, Trump hosted the guy who got rid of a CIA asset in a brutal way. Maybe. They also funded the hijackers. So interesting. I already know where Notlows 2 is on all of these. Going to be interesting when the chips fall on this on the Epstein files. I was listening to Counterpoints a little bit this morning, talking. Of course, he doesn't want to talk about that right now because it's not kind of going the way he wants to. He's kind of shifted back into some other things. I guess he's got a debate with Destiny tonight or at some point in the near future, and he's prepping for that. It's going to be interesting. And yeah, man, it's going to be. It's been really very, very interesting politically. Been very, very interesting socially. Got a lot of stuff going on. One of the things, and I really was going to spend most of today talking about my observations from the event last week, and talk. I've talked a little bit about it, but I haven't actually done like a download sort of stream. But I decided not to do that today, mainly because I've been running around like a crazy person trying to get this internet fixed. What's up, Mikey Balls? How are you? But yeah, I had to repair that cable. I ended up having to go buy the special crimpers for it. I didn't have them. I know that's hard to believe. I also had to buy the clipper. Oh wow, man, we got my man Doomsday 91 has gifted 5 Unreasonable Man memberships. That is awesome. That's awesome. That's awesome. I really appreciate the support. Really do. So it seems like to me, I'm probably the only one, but it seems to me like we've got a lot of stuff going on out there that people just are, they're talking, they talk about it and then they don't talk about it. Kind of one of those, like, it's almost like people don't want to engage on very specific things. Right. And So I can tone this down a little bit. Yeah, it looks all right. I don't have a debate coming up anytime soon. I wish I did, but I don't. I'm going to be hosting Marte. I'm trying to remember when that's going to happen. What's up, Steve Posey? How are you, sir? Why did all of a sudden about half the people went to @ instead of their normal screen name? YouTube is just screwy sometimes. Oh, I see what happened. Yeah, we're back to the @ thing. That's terrible. Nobody's going to believe anything that comes out of the Epstein files, as the Biden administration had 4 years to scrub them. I've said the same thing, and the Trump administration has them now. Yeah, I think that's, and you kind of wonder if that wasn't kind of the aim for the last 5 years, is just muddy the waters so much that when you finally do release them, both sides can say, yeah, but how much? We can't put any faith into that. There's no proof. We've just got these random ass emails. We've got stuff that we can't prove. You got to wonder how much of that is kind of intentional. You know what I'm saying? It was very fun to you didn't do it. Yeah, YouTube just does it randomly. I don't even know why. Like it's been normal, and now we're back to the @ sign again. You didn't do anything, Steve Posey. Not at all. Yeah. It was legendary at the event. Really, really cool. And I've kind of done some download on it already. I've got to at some point review the debates with maybe I'll have somebody else do it on their panel, and then I'll just be there too. There seems to be a lot of red pill drama again. The red pill is trying to become more relevant, except they're trying to reinventing themselves. And when I say reinventing themselves, what I actually mean is that what they're doing is they're saying, well, we're not actually saying red pill. Red pill. They're using red pill as this awakening, right? It's not the red pill tenets. It's not Rollo's doctrine. It's not any of that. It's, now red pill is supposed to all of a sudden mean something completely different than what it's meant. And they're really trying hard to, I don't want to say reinvent themselves, but reinvent themselves. It's the calmer, nicer, less sycophantic red pill. If you believe the press, I don't. I think it's the same thing as it's always been. It's always been about, saying that they're going to hold women accountable, but what they really do is they push a lot of things onto women that men are actually responsible for. And I don't agree with that. Right? The idea that women are promiscuous because they're promiscuous, okay, but it takes two to tango, Hot Rod, and you have control of your dick. So I really don't. I'm really, I'm kind of. I'm in a spot with the red pill guys. All right. What's up, Mr. Mister? Good to see you in the chat today. Good to see you. And that was a really great guest last night. He's obviously he is not a red pill guy. He is a very solid dude. He's Orthodox. And I'm not Orthodox. I never claimed to be Orthodox. I'm not even a particularly good person, but I can have good people on and I can talk to them. What's up, a random independent? Good to see you. Good to see you. What's my opinion on Trump kicking people out for beards but allowing people with swastikas in? I'm not sure. I've not seen that. I'm not sure that that actually is a thing. Steve Posey, I agree with that. However, again, you know, men can't put it all on women. They just can't. Men are supposed to lead. Women are supposed to follow within reason. If you're trying to blame women for having sex, and yet you give men a pass, you are no better than the feminist that I rail against every single day. It's just that simple. It's that simple. It's not the same thing. What's up, 10th man? How are you? And this is something that really bugs me about the red pill. Now, I'm not saying that, I endorse promiscuity. I certainly don't. But I acknowledge the fact that most women are at some point, in my mind, are promiscuous, right? I think the way the red pill goes about talking about it, is wrong. You cannot endorse promiscuity in men and disavow promiscuity in women. That just doesn't make any damn sense. It just doesn't. It just doesn't. Everyone keep your damn legs closed. Keep your dick to yourself. Frankie Too Sweet says, I find it hard to believe that those red pillars have any form of any decent leadership. So that's a valid, that is a valid observation. And this is my observation, right? The thing is that, and I've said this a couple of times. I said this the other day in person to a young man. If you're truly a leader, if you're really the guy, the women are going to know that you are the guy. They're going to respect that masculinity. They're going to respect the leadership. They're going to respect it. And those are the dudes that actually do get laid most often. Let's see. Red pillars, giving up on leading culture and society to a better state is the epitome of masculine surrender, which completely, I assume you mean contradicts their message regarding masculinity. Yeah, look, it's just a mixed message, right? You can't on one hand say that women need to be chaste. To be a high value woman, you need to have a low body count, but you don't give a shit about a man's body count. I understand it, right? I get it. And I understand their point of view of how men can't get pregnant and men don't view sex in the same way as women do, right? I get it. I understand all the psychology. I understand all of the different arguments. There's not going to be an argument that someone's going to present to me that I don't understand. Holy crap, Lost Avarice is alive. He is alive. I mean, after the amount of fun that dude had, he is great. Wonderful time getting to know you. Thank you for a fantastic event. You're very much welcome, sir. I absolutely enjoyed doing it. Avarice, you're home safe and alive. I saw you chilling out by a fireside in someone's backyard in Florida. That was awesome, dude. Thank you very much for the $10, man. That's very much. I feel like I missed something. Let me see. Yeah, the red pillars give only. Yeah, contradicts. Yeah, I got you there. But they are changing tacks. They are kind of trying to become more traditional. They are now talking about, having a Christian base to it and that being something that's desirable, which is something they haven't really said before. The problem is that the reason red pill appeals to so many people is it's about sex. They make it about sex. They're not making it about relationships. They're not making it about actually understanding your woman and valuing your woman and trying to understand that because women are different than men, you're never actually going to be looking at things from the same point of view, but you can work together to make something better than just those 2 points of view. All right, so I got a couple of things here. I'll put my glasses back on. It's about satiating the ego of loser men. Could be. Lost Avarice says, hope I wasn't too much of a nuisance. No, man, honestly, you weren't. I mean, you were obviously, I think, a little more off the rails as the night went on, but you weren't bad at all, dude. You weren't bad. And here's a good question for me. What is leadership to you, and what is your leadership style? We'll get into that in a minute. 10th man comes in, says, first problem is people think sex and relationship are related in some way. They are not. I think for men, that's true. I think for women, that's very not true. I think that women, regardless of what feminism wants women to believe, sex for women is in general not transactional in the way that it is for men. It is not casual in the way it is for men, even when they say that it is. And that's why you have so much angst and issues with women who have higher the body counts go. So I think that, I mean, I don't think you're far off. I think you're close, but so I do believe, yeah, obviously, some women do use sex to get whatever they want, but but other women use the idea of sex to get what they want. The actual sex is not important. It's interesting, but I think just kind of containing myself to where the red, because this is a huge subject. We could spend days on it. Just containing myself to how the red pill has been, how it has historically addressed this, and how they're addressing it now. My point of view, my observation is that largely the red pill has kind of co-opted this success genre to mean something it doesn't mean, and prescribe to that this idea that if you do these things, you will have a better woman. We know that this is not true, right? We understand that even the the top level men who do not understand how to have a relationship fuck them up all the time. So obviously the things that the red pill's talking about doesn't work. It's very difficult to point to what I would consider successful red pill people. You will get very close, right? You will find someone like like Rollo, who has been married for a long time. He has he has a very popular platform. He's sold a lot of books. But does that make him successful in the way that we'd like to think of success? I don't know. Maybe. Okay. I think it's actually more simple than that, Grid. Angel Berber says, I think it's actually more simple than that, Grid. The red pillar messaging appeals to the culture of self-success as an endpoint rather than it being a beginning point to a higher purpose. Okay, I can agree with that. But it also defines, I think it also defines relationships in a very narrow way. And in a way that I don't believe is correct. And one of the first things that the red pill talk about is how much women have changed. And I don't think women have changed honestly at all. I think women were always the way they are right now. There are more women, maybe, and an argument can be made that there are more degenerate women than there ever have been. However, the fact that we have had brothels and loose women throughout the entire course of history throws a wet blanket on that shit. Many women walk around angry because they're living against nature. Yes, that's true. They're forced by society to think like a man. True. It's like trying to push a square peg in a round hole. True. ZD Den has it down. She has it down. Many women walk. Pardon me. Angel Berber says absolutely great. Yeah, I mean, and this is the thing, right? Like the first thing that red pill has to do is that it has to give a young man this idea of hopelessness. You can't go find a high value woman that's going to want you. First of all, they don't define high value woman. They just something that you're supposed to understand. Not really sure what a high value woman is. But what I do know is what I really do know is that there are bad people out there, and there are people that are bad for you, but are wonderful for me. Okay. This is why we can't all marry the same woman. That's why some women that drive me batshit crazy are my friends' wives that they love so much. This is how nature works. Different strokes, different folks. You know. It's okay. Now I've made a lot of jokes about the red pill. I talk shit about the red pill quite a bit. I do that because I think it's fucking funny. Maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I should. I don't know. At any rate, at the end of the day, what we're really talking about here, guys, is the idea of red pill. And I'm going to get into why this is relevant in just a minute. I apologize. The idea of red pill can't exist without feminism. To have these degenerate women, you have to have feminism. It's just the way it is. I do think that red pill is trying to reinvent itself right now, try to become the more trad direction. They're trying to they talk more about religion now, but they're still talking. What bothers me is they talk about being religious and having a religion, and then they talk about going out and banging hoes and high value women. I don't know what a high value woman is. Nobody's ever been able to explain to me what a high value woman is. Even the trait of a low body count can't actually be explained because ultimately the best body count is 0. You don't get that very often anymore. So now you have to decide what is a high body count. Well, high body count to you may be 5, could be 6. In a way, it doesn't matter because you're never gonna fucking know. You're never gonna fucking know because why would anyone be honest about that? Not using punctuations. Yes, don't do that. Well, you can. It's just if you do it in a certain way, for some reason, it looks like you're adding a tag or a dot whatever, and that's what it is. Welcome, Ahims Alexander. Good to see you. Good to see you. Body count means nothing. So I don't disagree with that, 10th man. I think that it doesn't matter because you'll never know. You could have a woman who's literally a virgin, has never slept with anybody, but is ashamed of that fact and says she slept with 10 dudes. You can have a woman that slept with 100 men. You could have Lily Phillips who got railed by like 1,200 dudes in 24 hours. That she could get off a bus in Indiana, in Farmville, in a cotton dress with her hair did, and say that she's a virgin and nobody would fucking know. Beth, thank you. It was a great show last night. It was a great show. And this is a problem with trying to use something like body count to assess a value on something. Now, obviously, you can, the way that this is addressed as well, it's your personal personal preference. What the fuck does that even mean? Can we just get away from trying to do that dumbass shit and just be normal and say, hey, I just don't want a whore. I understand that everybody has a past. I have a past. And we understand it. We understand everybody has a past. The past is the past. Part of the reason, other than my pain issues, that I don't go on show much, I'm simply sick and tired of stupid people pretending to be smart. I'm not trying. I'm not smart. Right. I think Ahims Alexander, I think you're right about it. I care more. I agree with you. I care more about, let me find that. This is a great statement. Care more about why people sleep around and seeing what needs healing in culture than the number of people they managed to get him to bed. I agree with that. That's a great observation. And so when we're talking about this, when we're talking about these things, especially when we're talking about it with most red. Now, I am going to admit, I will freely admit, the red pill is trying to reinvent itself and trying to be this new, kinder, smarter, more accepting, whatever the fuck it is, version of red pill, where Now they're endorsing the going to church. They're saying that's a good idea now. They used to say no, don't do that. They talk about and part of that I think has to do with their weirdness with marriage. Um, for a long time, Red Pill has argued that men should not get married because it puts them in why would you be in a contract that pays someone to break it? Which I agree with. I mean, if you are that transactional in your relationship, then you've got, got other problems. When we're looking at this as a non-red pillar, just a conservative Christian dude, it sounds like horseshit. It just does. And if you're going to get, I think the question is that you marry for love. You actually marry for love. You have to understand what love is. You have to understand what commitment is. You have to understand what, so again, when I married my wife, I said this last night, I'll say it again. When I married my wife, she became my family. At that point, when we got married, it became us against the world. I have her back. She has mine. It's just the way it is. It's not transactional. It's not based in sex. It's not even based in the happiness of love, although I have that. Even if I was really upset with something she did, right? Let's just say my wife did something that just really upset me. Even then, she's still my family. I understand that means different things to different people, and some people have really shitty family lives, and modernity and feminism and all of these other things have kind of pushed that. But you have to get there. Commitment is the most meaningful portion of all of it. I made a promise before God to love, honor, not obey. That's her part. Cherish. It was my part. I cherish my wife. Does that mean that it's always roses? Does it all mean that we're always happy? Does it mean that butterflies and fucking rainbows are following me around, brightening the world around me? No. I have problems. My wife has problems. My wife yells at me occasionally. Women are emotional creatures. I am not. I'm the rock that when my wife is the storm, when my wife is angry because something has happened and she just can't deal with it. She can't handle it. And she just breaks down. I'm the rock that storm crashes on over and over and over again, and it's fine. And it's fine. As a man, if you cannot give your wife, future wife, potential wife, the feeling that when she is with you, she's always safe and everything's going to be okay. I don't give a fuck how much money you have. I don't care how big your dick is. I honestly don't. It doesn't matter how big your wallet is. It's not going to make her feel safe. And she's not going to be happy. And she's going to leave your dumbass as soon as she finds someone that does that. That's simple. You can have all the pills in the fucking world. You can be red pill, blue pill, black pill, candy striped. Doesn't fucking matter. If you can't be an actually strong man that can sit there and take his wife in her full on feminine rage and just let it crash over you. If you can't do that, might want to find a cave in the woods. Have a wank. It's gonna be safer for you. Okay. Now I don't know. I don't know how we get into the idea that sex is the basis of all relationships. I don't understand where we get to the point where we put the pussy so high on a pedestal that you've got to have ripped ass abs and 6 figures in your bank account and all this other shit. Getting laid is easy. Literally, hood rats everywhere get laid. Being a man, being an actual man, being someone that people look up to, people respect, people can count on. Your wife never knows actual fear. Being that guy, that's hard. That's hard. That's really hard. But that's who you need to be. Now, red pill will say, "Well, that's what we prescribe. That's what our descriptors are. That's what we're trying to get young men to be." We agree on all of this, but you don't actually agree with me because you put a value on women. You assign them all of these prerequisites that you just assume that these women are. If you assume that the woman you meet is going to try and fleece you for money, then you were fucked in the head. And you should go live in a fucking cave and have a wank. Because that's all you're good for. I'm sorry, I've been ignoring chat. I'm gonna scroll through. I apologize. I got on my horse there. I apologize if you said something really cool and I didn't see it. My bad. Glare 1% says getting laid is like baseball. The more pitches you swing at, the more hits you're going to get. Absolutely, that's true. Not all are going to be home runs. Absolutely. Sometimes you only get to third base. I actually disagree with this, Beth. I don't believe women are ever the foundation. Women can be it can be a little bit of support. A women can add to a man's well-being, but I don't think women can ever be the base because women inherently, and I understand you're going to disagree with me, all of you strong ass women. I will hear you roar later. I promise you. I believe that you're all awesome and capable of everything. However, I very much promise you that if you try and do what men do it's going to hurt your feelings really bad. You can't be that rock. This is why women, by the way, get into abusive relationships with feminized men. These feminized men, or men that have been traumatized in some way, my opinion, I could be wrong, or just men who just never grew up, never became patriarchal, never understood it. I used to call them weak men. I don't know that they're actually weak. But here's the thing. You take a man that cannot allow a woman to crash over him and take the fury of the storm and take your wife at her very worst. That's bad enough. But you add in a woman who wants to be the foundation, who wants to be the support, who wants to be that rock. She can't handle the force of a man crashing against her. Women never were meant to. That's why men go to other men or just go off by themselves and sort it out. But this is why a lot of abusive relationships never end, because the woman, the wife, the girlfriend, whatever, believes in herself that she can handle that. And she can take the force of that man's anger, fear, self-loathing, whatever the problem that man is having. She thinks she can take it. She can't. And that's unfortunate. But I see it so many times. I misunderstand you. Yeah, women cannot be that. Okay, I agree with that. Yeah. 10th Man says it's not that men are weak, it's that our society is broken. Maybe. Y'all need to realize if you want women to be in charge of anything, we don't. They need to be willing to do the work. I don't want them to be in charge. I think that they're I don't think that women, I think women can lead projects and things like that. I'm not saying that, but women to be in charge of a relationship is I think it's tough. It's tough. But anyway, I know this all sounds very misogynistic. I know it sounds like I hate women. I actually love women. I think women are they're wonderful creatures. They're wonderful. Life is bearable every day because of the woman in my life. Did women usually sit around and critique their men, then drop all the work on their man, and the man is told he failed? It's a solid point. That's a solid point. That is actually a solid point. I don't even know that they intend to do it that way. It's just the way it works out. So, at any rate, I've been listening to a lot of red pill guys lately, and the Coach Greg Adam things. So this is actually. And I don't normally pay much attention to drama, especially other people's drama. But this thing with Coach Greg Adams and Andrew, my dude, the fuck are these people thinking? Going after Andrew through Rachel, talking about how, she had 3 baby daddies. No, get it right. She had children by 2 other men. One, she was in a long committed relationship from high school forward. The second, she was married to. That's not a baby daddy, bro. It's not. Andrew was the third. He's still married to her. Not a baby daddy. Not sending checks every month. Now, I had a stepdad. I said this last night on another program. I had a stepdad. My stepdad was not ready to be a dad. He just wasn't. He married my mom. They had my half brother. Wasn't really ready to be a father. He did the best he could, and he sucked at it. He sucked at it. He did. My life was not great. It could have been worse. My life wasn't great. And later in life, he learned a lot. He grew into the role. I never actually say anything bad about the man, because it takes a fucking stud to step into a single mom's life and take those kids in and take care of them. It takes a fucking stud. And be successful at it, right? I guess I should say it takes a special man to step in anyway. But to be successful at it, to go out and do what Andrew's done and make those kids feel like they're his kids, be a part of their lives, do all of that. It's literally one of the greatest things a man could do. It's hard, and excelling at it the way Andrew has is admirable. It's admirable. Kind of fucks with me that people are talking shit. Not gonna lie. You know. 10th man says Rachel brought it on herself. Look what look what she did to me. Now I have license to do whatever the fuck I want to do. I don't know what Rachel did to you. I have no idea. That's true, Ahimsa. We can talk about that. If you want to come up, I'll be glad to talk about that with you. Without the glasses, I look like an old-timey man from England. Well, I am old, so good enough. I never saw Rachel attack you, 10th man. I don't know what you're talking about. I also don't pay a lot of attention, to be honest with you, to a lot of the drama stuff going on. I seem to have missed something, so I'm scrolling up. Just give me a second. I feel like I missed something. Yeah, doesn't matter. You're welcome to come up. If you're in my Discord, I'll throw the link over there. Do that now. Where is Discord? I even have Discord. Yeah, I got Discord. It was a while ago on tomatoes. Yeah, I don't care. That whole thing is weird. All right, mods, the link is in the mod chat. Nope, that's wrong link. My bad. My bad. Don't laugh at me. Wrong link. Why did it? That's the right link though. Why did it not? There we go. I don't know what happened. You're not in Discord? I'll throw it down. Just give me a sec. I'll just throw it here, and I'll just won't let anybody else up. I don't know what she said, so I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what you needed defending from, but okay. Hello, Ahimsa. How do I
Hey,
how do I say that?
can you hear me?
I can't hear you. Do you say
Yeah, that's right.
Ahimsa? Okay, gotcha.
Ahimsa. Uh-huh. It means non-aggressive, like
Non-aggressive.
love folks. Yeah, and Alexander means defender of men. So I believe in intellectually defending people.
Interesting. My my son's my youngest son's name is Alexander Maximus. So
Love
that's gonna
it.
huh?
Yeah, I love it. Yeah.
That's pretty good. Beth, I'm not paying attention to Discord at all. So I have it up, but I'm not paying attention to it. I apologize. So what do you think of the topic today, Ahimsa?
I just jumped in a little bit ago, so
Yeah,
just listening.
I saw the comment. I thought it was interesting
Which one?
about women going into men's spaces, and then 10th Man made a comment back. Let me see if I can find it again. Actually, I think all of the comments are interesting, or most of them.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. Let's see, where are we at? You were saying that Float says the opposite. I think it's dependent on the individual and job, and that was in response to, I'm assuming, have you ever had a woman boss, manager, supervisor? I've yet to find a woman in a position of power who was competent.
Oh yeah.
And you said that you had kind of the opposite experience. I was very interested in that.
Yeah, I've had a few good women bosses, and I've had some really crappy ones.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it depends on the job and the woman. There are certain women, just like certain men, that are not cut out for leadership.
Yeah,
And
that's
then
true.
other ones are. It depends on the personality.
I think it also depends on the job. Sorry, I'm losing my voice, guys.
That's true.
I would say that my experience has been that while I do believe that women can be competent, I'm not sure about the leadership part. Is where I start coming into question, right? And let me kind of formulate this out. So I don't want to be too offensive. I'm going to be offensive. I don't want to push
That's
the
fine.
envelope. I don't want to push the envelope too far. So
we can take it. Don't worry.
My experience has been the women that can lead tend to lead, but there's usually a man guiding that, right? who's making sure they don't go too far and that sort of thing. My experience has been is that every time I've ever placed a woman in a leadership role or had a woman in a leadership role, they either take it too far, and maybe because of lack of competency, sometimes, maybe not, maybe they're actually competent, but they don't have the confidence that's necessary to actually be a leader. And they're seen in the office as kind of bitchy or whatever. I'm not really, I don't know that I've ever had, I'm trying to think though, where I've had a woman who is a true leader. I mean, even my wife, who does lead teams who will lead a team, she still reports to a dude who makes sure that she's not going too far. She's not pissing everybody off. And he has somebody above him that's kind of making sure that he doesn't do the same thing. So I don't know. It's an interesting quandary for me.
Well, I used to work for a woman that started her own business,
Mhm.
and she ran it out of her home. This was a while ago when I was in college,
Sure.
and she ran a very successful business. I mean,
Yeah, I think women
multi-million.
can be very successful. I mean, my wife's very successful.
Yeah, but I mean, I liked her a lot for a boss. She was great, and I ended up being her godparent to her kids and stuff. So, but there was one other woman that worked for her that absolutely resented her because she was a boss girl, I guess, and she
Right.
just created friction and trying to undermine her and all kinds of, and even like her relationship with her kids. It was grotesque, but I mean,
That is
it depends on
grotesque.
the person.
Yeah.
And I've had another woman when I worked at a big corporation that
Mhm.
she was deplorable. She just was micromanaging everything, and I had no idea how she ever got in leadership.
Mhm.
But then her co-boss was awesome. I mean, she was
Mm.
great. So I think it depends on the person. I've been put in leadership a lot, and I never really quite understood it. Like I was voted on an HOA once, and I'm like, why? Why did you put me here? I don't want to do this, but I did
HOA,
it.
that's so terrible.
Yeah, it was. It
HOAs are
was.
horrible.
Hold on.
I
Give me
ended
a
up
sec.
moving.
Give me 1 sec. 10th man, I see you. I'm just having a conversation right now. I don't actually do open panels like other people do open panels. I didn't even actually necessarily want Beth up here, but it's okay. I'll kick Beth off if she gets annoying. But that's okay. So, but I saw you back there. You're maybe I'll bring you up in a few minutes. I'm just trying to talk to. I'm just kind of getting these key points out. What did you think about the way that we were talking about red pill and men and the way that they are doing these relationships?
Well, I have sons, so I've tried to raise them to take everything in and then
Mhm.
siphon it through their own wisdom and ask questions,
Hold,
but
hold,
make.
hold on 1 more second. 10th man, it's not a question of you being invited. I don't do panels like everybody else. Yeah, it's not that I'm excluding you. I'm excluding everybody except Ahimsa because she made a comment that I thought was interesting, and I haven't actually talked to her before, so I wanted to understand it.
Shit, my bad. I
I
didn't
allowed
even.
Beth up because Beth is Beth, and it's fine. She knows to be quiet, I think, and so don't take it offensively or defensively, whatever. Just don't take it personally. Anyway, I'm sorry about that, Ahimsa. So you
No
have
worries.
sons. Let's back up
Yeah.
to you. You have sons. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, and they're actually a bit more conservative even than I am, but I've told them to take everything, with a grain of salt and weigh everything and then make up their own minds and
Mhm.
their own futures. And some of the things that they espouse, I don't necessarily agree with, but we've always had open dialogue where there is no topic off the table for discussion. And so, I mean, there was a point when they were younger where they were leaning way more liberal than I think maybe I exposed them to when they were young.
Mm.
And so they were accusing me of being homophobic, you know?
Oh,
And
wow.
I,
Your kids?
yeah, yeah, it was in middle
Wow.
school. One of them was just totally, saying all these things that I didn't necessarily feel or believe internally, but
Are you
it
homophobic?
was
It's okay if you are. I know.
no,
You're in a safe space.
no.
You're in a safe space. Nobody's going to do that.
No, 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 I'm not homophobic at all. I mean,
Oh,
I believe that insofar as marriage goes, I'm maybe unpopular, but I believe for
the
religious
sentiment.
purposes, it's between a man and a woman. That
Mhm.
doesn't mean, however, I have an aversion to that ever happening. I believe there should have been some civil protection under the law, like in the 90s and stuff with HIV, AIDS, and hospitals and stuff like that. I felt like that was atrocious and inhumane and cruel, where the way
Okay.
that a lot of people were treated, especially in the Bible Belt.
Mhm.
I mean, there's one nurse out in Arkansas that buried personally herself over 100 people because their families absolutely straight out rejected them because they were gay. I find that deplorable and inhumane and very not Christian. But it's neither here nor there. I believe there's like a middle ground that's more reasonable that people
Okay.
could work towards, but there's agendas and a lot of money for agendas.
True. That's all true.
But
Okay.
yeah,
Fair
my
enough.
kids have attacked me for beliefs I don't have, so that was fun. And then they end
Mm.
up going so far the other way. I'm like, "Are you red pilled?" But they're 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 okay now. I mean, they're just kinda
Mhm.
they're
Okay.
normal
So
Gen Z.
the red pill thing, I think, appeals to a lot of young men who get frustrated that they feel like they should be moving faster through life than they are, and um, and we don't teach patience anymore.
But that's a lot of
And-
it's the TikTok generations, Gen Z, everything is instant gratification starting
Mhm.
almost with the boomers on down. And so the whole notion of working for what you want is something that I've tried to instill in them.
Mhm.
But, if things aren't supposed to be easy in life, I've never tried to teach my kids that. If it's
Right.
easy, then chances are you're not manifesting what you want long term. But the family
Yeah,
values
I
is
can agree
what's
with
been
that.
most important to me.
I can agree with that. I think that there's because like my 15-year-old is really, I don't know. He's a really good kid. I mean, he has his problems. You know,
Cool.
but he's a really good kid, and it's him and his generation that give me hope for the future right now.
Right? Right?
Because they're all really good kids, um, and I look at kids that are even just a couple of years older than him, that are so disassociated with society to really just don't understand, where they're coming from a lot of the times. Um, and the I think it's really interesting, right? I think that I think for women for too long have tried to convince other women to be maybe more masculine than they should be, which I think is wrong. Because it's not men trying to say to women, "Hey, you should be less of a woman." But I hear, and I've seen, women go after each other for not being the boss babe, not being the, why are you letting your man talk to you like that? That kind of thing. And I find it interesting, right? Even more than the red pill stuff, which I find
Mm,
interesting in like that really is stupid kind of way.
yeah.
Watching women interact with each other is fascinating. It's
I mean,
just
I guess it depends on the women and what the topic is. There's a lot of,
sure, sure.
you know, I mean, there's honestly, living in a small town, I don't have anywhere near as much intellectual stimulation or even some degrees spiritual inspiration that I had when I was in Houston, Texas. So it's just, it's very different. I don't enjoy talking about people and small topics like that. But I've seen men do that as well. I mean,
Oh
I've
yeah.
definitely in the workforce, I think they did a study one time. I can't quote it verbatim, but there was some quote that men are actually more prone to being gossipy than women inside the work environment, which is a weird concept, but I have seen some definite gossipy men, and I'm like,
Mm,
what is going on with you? I don't like, there was one person, again, because 'cause I've been put in leadership, I got put in one of my kids' leadership things as a parental support group for activities that they have, and one of the male teachers just kept gossiping to me to the point where I'm like, "I don't wanna hear it," and part of it was complaining about their spouse, and I'm like, the 3rd time I'm
mm,
like, "Get a freaking therapist, because 'cause I'm not it," you know? And so
true.
some people would say that that's a very masculine attribute that I have, because I try to use logic and I'm pretty direct with my logic, though I'm not always direct with everything, because I don't like hurting people's feelings, but,
Mm,
insofar as those kind of boundaries, I'm very acutely aware of it. Does that make sense? Like, and I
sure.
don't wanna hear the gossip. I don't wanna hear certain things about people, especially private life things that are negative or deteriorating
Mm,
towards the overall picture of family. I try to support families, so
mhm,
I'm like, "I don't wanna hear about your wife." You know what I mean? Like, if you've got anything negative to say, speak to her or go to a therapist.
mhm.
But that was just excessive gossip to me, and it annoyed me.
Well, I think it's a different type of gossip for the most part with men. Men do we talk all the time, right? Like,
Mhm.
but it's pretty directed at a lot of it, especially in workplaces. Who's doing what, why are they doing it, is there an opportunity for me there? It seems a little bit more productive gossip, I guess, maybe.
Mm.
um there's obviously always going to be the, hey, did you see the hot new chick on third floor, man, she's smoking. There will always
Mhm.
be that. We're men, we notice women the way it is. um and we're going to talk to each other about it, right? um
Right.
but I do think I would 100% believe that, because I've had a lot of I've had many employees over the years, and I know that I know the amount of chatter that goes on, and especially about workplace interactions, right? Everybody wants to kind of feel out where everybody is on this or that, or who might be getting fired. Is there a position that might come open? Maybe I can throw my hat
Yeah.
in for that. Um, so I think that I don't disbelieve that at all. Um, I would say, however, I don't think it's I don't think it's parity when it comes to, for example, um, certainly there are men that will stab you in the back 100% to get ahead.
Huh.
100. I mean, we all know that. I mean, we can't deny that.
Yes.
But it seems to be the case, and maybe your experiences are different, but it seems to be the case to me that women are evil when it comes to dealing with each other, if even as friends, in the workplace or in anything where they might advance, right?
Hmm.
So like if I hired two women in, and one was the so-called head of, or she was the office manager, right? And I put the other girl is not the office manager. If they think that they're even, at some point, there there's going to be a plot to make the other one look bad, either to keep either from the office manager to keep being the office manager, making the other girl look like an idiot and barely capable of doing her job, and definitely need the office manager there to make sure that that girl does her job, or the um, from the employee aimed at her superior, the office manager, to make her look incompetent and that she should be actually doing that job. I think it's an interesting dynamic. I've watched it many times, and it's women are catty, which is interesting since you have a cat avatar. But women are just catty. They're vicious. They're just so vicious with each other.
I
And
think some can be, and I think a lot of that is, what culture you are somewhat in the
Mm,
US. And
okay.
so I didn't really find that in Texas, but I mean, it depends on like the tier of character you're dealing with as well as hiring. I mean, I think Dave Ramsey is very adamant about that when he hires people
Mhm.
that work for him. There's absolutely no gossip. And so I appreciate that model because people can devolve towards competing with one another inside of an organization
Mhm.
versus building up the organization to compete externally. But you'll see that in family dynamics as well. I've
Yeah.
never understood parents that try to pit their children against each other to make them compete for the parents' affection, because
Yeah.
my thing is,
That's
this is
crazy.
my tribe, and when you're here, it's
Right.
cool, but when you go out in the world, you're fighting with each other
Right.
against the world. You're not to be fighting outside. Like, I had one incident where one of my kids bullied the other next under one, and that was the maddest I've ever gotten at my kids, is when they came home and told me they were bullying their next younger sibling to impress a friend on the bus. And I'm
Mm,
like, I have never spanked you, but I will pull off a peach tree limb and wear you out if I ever hear that again. Because when you're
that's
outside this
awesome.
house, you are a family unit. I don't ever want to hear, and I've never heard that
Right.
again. They understand they're a tribe outside, but that's not the way everybody raises their family. And so
Anymore.
when you're,
Anymore.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't know that it ever was that normal. I mean,
I
I
think
just
I think
like
it's pretty
that.
normal. I think that's a
Is it?
normal thing.
Okay.
I think,
I
so
think it should be. I
I
think
mean,
it
my
should be. It
brothers and I
builds
would fight against
team.
each other, but nobody
Mhm.
it's like nobody kicks my brother's ass but me, right? Like that's it.
Right,
Like, just
exactly.
period, right?
That's our
And
family values too.
it is it's really it's just such an interesting dynamic when we start talking about, the family units and how everything works, and how you get ahead and that sort of thing. And um it's a topic we could talk about for a long time. What do you think about, or did you hear where I was talking about how men have to be the rock that women crash on, and
Mm.
the and women can't handle, it can't ever be reversed, right? I understand women think they can, but it can never be reversed, because it's just too much. When men finally do get to that point, it's just too much. So what do you think
Yeah.
about that?
No, I agree. I mean, men have an outie, women have an innie, and so that's like basic biology.
Right.
Men are built to be going out into the world and conquering it, and she's supposed to be inside managing and taking it all in. So
Yeah.
for her to be the rock that is conquering it all doesn't make sense. I think foundationally they fit together. And
Mm,
so as a couple, they should fit together and carry, the weight of the family and cooperate through that, but yeah, I believe men should be ideally, but we have several generations of, raising a little weird. I mean, you start with
yeah.
the boomers and everything was about the boomers, and it's the first generation where men weren't forced to grow up. And so from there, we've been trickling down, and
Hmm.
the economy's not great. So I feel like Gen Z is getting completely different lessons that maybe my
Yeah.
grandparents who went through World War II and the Depression, they
Yeah.
understood. If you want something, you have to go out and work for it.
I
You're not entitled to it.
So that's my son is that way. My son, and
I
he's
love that.
fascinated with like the depression and everything. Give me one second. Kel, I see you out there. The link is in the mod chat. You're welcome to go over and ask for a link. I'm not going to bring anybody else up for a few minutes, but if you want to hang out and come up in a few minutes, you know, if I stay on that long, I'll get to you. I promise. So getting back, so my oldest son last year, we had gone to Oshkosh the year before, and he had actually, we had toured a bunch of the airline training schools just for the heck of it while we were there. And, you know, these are programs where you sign a contract. It's a 2-year contract, whatever it is. And they pay for your flight training and all of that so that you go in knowing nothing about how to fly airplanes, and you come out being with an ATP and able to get a job with Southwest or somebody, you know? And
Cool.
so he had been asking a bunch of questions about it. I thought that was interesting. And then he started talking. It was either going into the military. He was talking about going into the military all the time, or doing the flight school or something like that. And my wife decided it was weird, especially the military angle was like, it was just such an interesting thing that we finally asked him about it. And what he said is that he didn't want to he needed to go to college, and college is really expensive. And he didn't want to be a burden to us,
Right.
to his parents. So he was
That
at
is so
14.
cool.
At 14, he was planning his future and not relying on, well, I'm just going to have the money to go to college. Right? Like
I love that.
it never entered his mind that, you know, that we would just pay for his college, or he would just go into debt and get a bunch of student loans or anything like that. It was, I'm going to go into the military. I'll do 4 years. I'll come out with the GI Bill, and I'll go to a good college. Or I'm going to go and I'm going to, you know, become an airline pilot. I'm going to be an airline pilot. I'll take classes, you know, because of the way the schedule works. I'll take classes on my off time, and then I will, you know, then I'll eventually have a master's, and then I'll retire from being an airline pilot and go do something with my master's, and that'll be my life. That's how I'm going to live. At 14, he's thinking this way.
Love
Now,
that.
keep in mind that my wife and I have done pretty well, and we have made it so that the day he turns 18, he's a millionaire. He doesn't know that. He's not
Wow.
going to know that. The day he
Don't
turns,
tell him till he's 30.
yeah,
30.
right.
30.
Yeah,
You have to, yeah, you got to wait
right,
till
right.
like they're 30 to even, you can prep them ahead of time. Cause I've done Dave
Yeah.
Ramsey since my second one was born.
Okay.
Yeah. And so I haven't done debt since my third one was born. So, I
Mhm.
mean, I'm definitely not at your status, but they don't know what they don't know. And I don't want them to know. So my 15-year-old is wired similarly to yours. And so they're in their 10th grade year, and they've made straight A's the entire time
Mhm.
and are looking at scholarships. And I'm like, way to
Yeah.
go, you know, and they're actually taking Xboxes off of eBay, fixing them up and flipping them. And
Oh,
I
nice.
love that. I'm
Yeah.
like, "Where did you come up with that idea?" "I just wanted to make extra money for myself."
Mhm.
I'm like, "Hell yeah." You know?
That's
I
awesome.
love kids that think that, you know, that think
Yeah.
that entrepreneur way, because 'cause they're the ones that are set to take over that. I mean,
Mhm.
because that's where you don't wanna leave the kids money, you want them to have the character attributes,
Mhm.
and that's
Yeah, absolutely.
that's part of it. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It's an interesting thing that you say that, because, you know, my son has now. So last year we went to West. He'd also talked about going, since he'd been talking about going to the military. My wife looked into military colleges, and we went and toured West Point. And he is
Awesome.
absolutely committed to going to West Point. He
Love
is
it.
all. I mean, literally, it's all he. I mean, he's working out. He's running. He's doing, because of physical. A lot of people can make the academic requirements. They can't make the physical requirements, and so he's doing all of that.
Mhm.
Now, of course, he's a Boy Scout. Of course, he does other things, but he's really focused on getting into West Point, and it's just, and this is why as messed up as Gen Z is, the hope is there with Gen Alpha. The hope is there. Like it's really
Oh, yeah.
cool. So um
Well, I like Gen Z also. I was talking to Flo about that, Dusty, about how
mhm.
these kids are not having as much sex or doing as many drugs or alcohol
Yeah.
as the prior three generations, and so it's like they've learned.
Hmm.
So I have a lot of hope for them. I've interacted with them, and they're way more sheltered in some ways, which brings about a spirit of purity. In other
Hmm.
ways, they know way too much. But I love that your son's trying to go to West Point. My best friend's husband graduated there. It's a good
Yeah.
school. Good school.
I think it's a really good thing. Um
Mhm.
so you know, so and this is again, I guess I'm to tie it all back in. This is a problem I have with red pill, right? Like all of these wonderful things, all of these wonderful women out there, all of these wonderful human beings that are being told that no, you can never trust women, you can never trust dudes, you can never, you got to guard yourself. Women are going to take your kids and take your money and all of that, which granted some do. Absolutely. That happens every day.
Mhm. So do some men.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
there's there, if you don't want it to happen to you, be
Right.
a good dude, take the appropriate
Mhm.
steps, right? And taking the appropriate steps has nothing to do with, um, you know, what the red pill prescribes. So it's an interesting
Yeah.
deal
Yeah.
for
I don't
sure.
want them to live in fear of anything. I mean, of the person in the mirror. That's your greatest threat to me. Is
Yeah.
like what you do or don't face. That's why I tried to raise them. I was like, don't be afraid. Get out there and live while there's time. Because
Yeah.
we're all gonna die. But I mean, maybe you make mistakes, pick yourself up. It's not how many times you fall down, it's how much you get back up and get back in the game. So
Yeah.
yeah, I don't like the whole fear of women or fear of men because I've got some uber liberal women in the family too, and I'm just like, I don't have the same feeling about men that you do. It's just no, doesn't make sense. But anyway, I better jump off. I gotta go pick that one I was just talking up from school here in
Okay.
a second.
No, no,
Yeah.
no, no.
Wait, what? I probably have 5 minutes, but yeah, what's up?
You're just awesome, and I don't want you to go. I actually had a
Oh, I'm
really good
sorry.
time. I had a really good time hanging out with you, and you are like super based. You got some good input on things.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
thanks.
Mm.
Yeah.
I
You,
loved
you
hanging
should.
out with you too.
Yeah. You should definitely come around more often. I'm sorry that the robot kicked you yesterday.
No, that was funny. That was hilarious actually.
It was
Yeah, I was
actually
like
really funny. I just
that
looked up
was
and it said that you've been that WMD had kicked you, and I'm like, yeah, don't use periods. Don't do that. That's awesome. It's
gotta be Gen Z.
very sensitive robot. So
Well, thanks for having me up.
yeah,
It was
absolutely.
great talking with you.
Thank you for coming up. I really appreciate
Yeah.
it. Beth, you can talk
By the
now.
way, your jam is awesome. She gave me homemade jam.
Mhm.
It's so good. It's really good.
Oh, thank you. The blackberry or the
Oh yeah.
grape?
I
Oh,
haven't tried the grape
thanks.
yet. The blackberry's delicious.
Yeah,
Um,
I picked make the kids work for it. I live on a farm, so yeah.
You live on a
Yeah.
farm?
Yeah.
What part of the
Yeah.
country?
Uh-huh. I think I told you once before. Yeah, Southeast Conference. But
Southeast
yeah,
what?
Southeast Conference football wise.
Oh, like Ohio or
SEC.
something, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't remember. It doesn't matter.
I'll tell you later, Greg.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
But we
I
like our blackberries.
yeah.
But yeah, I had wanted to jump up because I have had my own business and I've been through a lot of the stuff you guys are talking about. I think that when it comes down to like women
Awesome.
trying to be leaders, it depends on the circumstances. Like for instance, when you're talking about like seamstressing and cleaning businesses and things like that, really women driven jobs. Some women can manage it, some can't. Okay, it's all going to depend on the individual and what the job is. But women are going way too much into men's spaces, and I think that red pill I see as kind of like an overcorrection, if that makes sense.
I think red pill is just a grift. It's just a way for
Yeah.
people to make. It's just a way for men to make money off of other men, and that's one of the reasons. I think that's one of the biggest reasons I dislike it.
Well, the
Mhm.
rhetoric turns into a serious overcorrection of things, and I think it's
Well,
kind of poisoning these young men.
so and Glenn and I talked about this a lot. Is that if red pill, if you stay in it long enough, it turns to nihilism
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it does.
almost every single time.
Yeah.
And that's bad. We don't need that.
Yeah.
We don't want that. So
I have battled that myself. Beth knows a little bit of my story. Someday I can share it with you at another thing.
Sure.
But when I was
You're
in
always
Houston,
welcome.
Texas, I worked behind the scenes for 6 years to expose the Catholic Church SA childhood cover up because I was very Catholic. And, into 2012, I reached into a mother's darkness to say, what can I do to fix this? And from there to 2018, finally he was removed in 2019. But it just like I saw too much, and it was definitely a battle with nihilism after that.
Mhm.
I'm like, where do I trust God, but the rest I'm kind of a little questionable when people get in power dynamics,
Yeah,
and how things can get corrupted quickly.
I've
Well, I
had
don't even know that was quick, but yeah, that
don't
was
even have anything like that, but I've had moments where I just look at the world and I question if having children was the right thing to do, and I look at my kids and I worry about them having children. So, but that's only at certain times when you see certain things that are happening and going on where it's like, oh, it
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I
I
don't
think
really
that.
feel that way about my kids now. I mean, two of them graduated a couple of years ago, and the best was seeing one of them get the Good Citizen Award. I'm like, they're all smart, but the character part, I feel like the world needs these kids to lead them into the future. So
it
I
does.
don't know,
Mm.
but yeah. Take care, guys.
Yeah,
Thank
have a
you.
good rest of your
Bye.
day.
So good to
We'll
see you.
see you
You
again.
too. Okay, take care. Bye.
Yep, absolutely.
You know, Grid, I
Yes.
rarely, very rarely get along with women. And
Mm,
like she is definitely a real one. She's a
mm,
good lady for
mm.
sure.
Okay, good. Yeah, I've seen her in the chat a lot. I just I don't always get to read the comments, so I just caught that one. I thought Kel might come up, but it is 3 o'clock. Even though I started late, I'm still going to end on time. Let me see if I can raid you guys over to Rob. Rob Noor is beating up on Dusty right now. I kind of feel bad for Dusty, but I kind of don't. It's
Yeah, don't feel too bad. I think he kind of enjoys it to a degree.
well, it makes him money, so I don't. I don't. I said I kind of feel bad. I don't feel bad because it makes him money, and that's why he's doing it. So, um, but you guys have a great. I'm gonna go jump over in their chat for just a few minutes, and then I got some work to do. I'm a God is up in the house. What's up, man? It took you like an hour. Yeah, absolutely. That's true. Hey, GG is up in that. Oh no, that's over at Rob's chat. I thought he were here. Man, I'm in the wrong. Where's my stream? There's my stream.
I met Oh My God
I like him.
in Nashville too. He's pretty cool.
You kind of got to say it in this. You kind of got to say it in like that Peter Griffin.
Yeah,
Oh my God, kind of.
it's that jazzy thing.
Yeah, jazz hands. That's what you got. You got to use the jazz hands voice. All right, guys, it's been great. I ranted a lot, mainly because I was really pissed about the rabbit chewing up my cable and me having to and making me late today. Don't be red pill. Don't be black pill. Don't don't describe yourself as a pill. You're not a pill. You're a human being, has feelings, does good things. Go have fun over on Rob's stream. Be cool. Wear glasses if you need them. And we'll see you tomorrow night. See you.